Terms and conditions apply.
Zamtel, live life today.
Situated on a small bland promontory of higher ground on the eastern edge of the 30-kilometer wide Barotse floodplain of the Zambezi River, running north to south, 15 kilometers from the Zambezi River's main channel, the town of Mongu is fast growing, with the population standing way over 40,000 people. A land occupied mainly by the Lozi people, who speak a language derived in part from the Makololo related to the South African Sesotho language. Not as developed as one might imagine, with barely any single industry or factory in operation, yet Mongu is self-sustaining in terms of agriculture. Thank you, Kalumba. In this week's edition of Today with Zamtel, we get to explore the beautiful place called Mongu. We'll get to know the historical background as well as the culture background of this place. Once again, I want to welcome the viewers to this week's edition of Today with Zamtel as we explore Mongu, located in the western part of Zambia. Barotse land has a rich history. Its heartland is the Barotse floodplain on the upper Zambezi River, also known as Bulozi or Liondo. But Barotse land includes the surrounding higher ground of the plateau, comprising all of what is now the western province of Zambia.
Before Liwanika, there was no this ceremony of Kuomboka. We had no village like Lealui. It has started with Mulamba in 1871. The first village of Pre-Kuomboka. We went to the Blogams there, that was his home. That was 1871, Kumulamba Santuru. From Mulamba Santuru, there was a conflict after his death. Those people, they started now fighting among themselves. People from the south, they wanted Muvukwanu. People here in the north, we wanted Limulunga to come and take over the throne. Now, during that process, while we are still fighting one another, the Kololo people came and conquered us. We were beaten to best in nothing. That even the local languages now we are using is Kololo. We were taken for 25 years under the Kololo kingdomship. Mongu was not a bomb as such. It was a village of people somewhere in the valley there. Now, because of the floods, they shifted from the valley to that top hill. Mongu is a name meaning a pumpkin. Mungu means a pumpkin.
The story of Mongu would be incomplete without talking about possibly one of the biggest celebrated traditional ceremonies in this part of Africa, the Pre-Kuomboka. But today, our story begins with one of the oldest churches to be set up in this part of Zambia, dating back to 1885, when one of the first missionaries to ever step foot on this land, Franco Koya, with his wife, set up their first mission at this place. Join me as we tour this place and as we meet a beautiful woman of God, Reverend Catherine Ilwale, as she takes us around this place.
When Franca Koya came to Barotse, from Sesheke, he first settled at Sefulamusindi. But that Sefulamusindi was not very suitable for him. So after consultation with the paramount chief Lewanika, then he came here. And on 11th October 1886, what he did, there were some tents which he used, and this was the first nail which he used when he settled here. This was the nail for his first tent. The first church building was not the one which is standing there. It was built a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah. First of all, it was not a building which was like this. It was a thatched building.
So, Reverend, what burial site are we looking at right now?
This is burial site. It's where
As we celebrate 100 years with Zamtel, we made a stopover at the Zamtel Mongu office. Join me as we talk to the regional business manager, Mr. Moses Simpungwe. Kindly explain to us how Zamtel is performing here in Mongu.
Zamtel is doing very well. For any information, the region stretches from Kaoma all the way up to Kalabo. Then Kalabo, we've also got Lukulu. You also cover Senanga, getting down into Shangombo. And you find that for all those places, our presence has to be there, and it is there. We are doing it both on voice as well as data.
As we've been here, one of the major highlights of Mongu has been the Kuomboka ceremony. What has been the significance of Zamtel being part of this huge event?
Zamtel, being a telecommunications institution, is so about communication. And where ceremonies are concerned, is so about giving out information to people. So with us, we are so proud that where such things are happening, we're moving and show our muscles there also. If anything, you know, like for this Kuomboka, we really wanted to be part of it, because last year it was aborted. And this time we wanted to be to be seen to be part of the Kuomboka itself. You know, Zamtel this year is celebrating 100 years of being in this institution, or being under telecoms. So with us, it was a plus. And looking at what happened at the Kuomboka, we had to partner with the guys who are organizing the same function. We did a fundraising work at Zamtel, where we pushed in some monies in there, and we pushed in some t-shirts.
Occurring once in a year, the Kuomboka ceremony is attended by thousands of people from across the world. It is a celebration of the movement of the Litunga from his winter palace in Lealui to his summer palace in Limulunga. Right now, we are heading to Lealui, an island that is of significance to Mongu District. Now, Lealui is also significant to the Kuomboka ceremony, because this is the place that houses the winter palace for the Litunga. This is the place where the journey for the Kuomboka ceremony begins. What we are going to experience when we reach Lealui is the sounding of the maomas. Now this is a signal to signify that the Kuomboka ceremony will take place. Mulumeleni! This is a place of importance, and very soon we shall witness the drumming of the maoma. So today is another day, and we are heading back to Lealui. The place where we are is the Zambezi Local Authority Substation. It is called Matongo Substation and located in Matongo Village. It is on the Zambezi River. What happens here is basically the measuring of the water levels to determine which areas have got high levels of water and those levels that have lower levels of water. All right, I have done enough dancing and I'm so tired. What we are experiencing right now is a celebration of the Kuomboka ceremony, a celebration that the Kuomboka ceremony will begin in a few hours. We were dancing a dance that they call Kandemba. What we have in the background is the famous Nalikwanda. The first one to be ever made was made about 300 years ago, popularly known for its black and white stripes. This is the boat that the Litunga will use to travel to Limulunga from his winter palace here at Lealui. Now there are rules relating to the Nalikwanda. No woman is allowed to be near it at least 100 meters away because it is considered a taboo. What is happening right now is the loading of the Litunga's luggage. Food, clothes, and all other necessities shall be on this boat because the journey is a long one, about 6 to 7 hours. On the boat, men clad in beautiful colors will be traveling to Limulunga. Music and dancing shall take place on this boat to signal the journey to the palace. What we are seeing in the background is the Nolianga. Now this is the boat that the Queen uses to travel to Limulunga. As you can see, the men on the boat are clad in beautiful colors. These are the men we call the peddlers. Now on this boat, it is beautiful that the wife to the Vice President has actually accompanied the Queen. The movement of the Litunga to Limulunga is not only for the Litunga and his family, but for the entire village. What we have in the background is the Nalikwanda. The Nalikwanda will meet the Nolianga, which is the boat that is ferrying the Queen. The two boats, the Nolianga and the Nalikwanda, will soon meet in a few minutes. A dance of celebration shall be performed and the mahomas shall be bitten. The two boats are meeting, the Nolianga and the Nalikwanda. You just have to enjoy the dancing that is being performed on the boats. On the journey, different types of dancing are exhibited and different drums are beaten. Different types of music is actually played to celebrate the movement. That is the sound of the mahoma. These are special drums. Into the journey, the paddling and the music continues. You can imagine we have about 4 more hours to cover till we get to Limulunga. Now I understand why they have to pack all the food and all the necessities that they need for this journey. It is not an easy one. Imagine the peddlers that are on the boats, paddling and dancing for 6 to 7 hours. We are just sitting and enjoying the ride, but you can imagine what the peddlers are going through. But it is something that is really, really beautiful. A colorful trip that you wouldn't want to miss. A colorful trip that you would enjoy. I don't know where we are right now, but all I know is that we are on course on our journey to Limulunga. Okay, so I just thought maybe I could help instead of just sitting on the canoe. It's my first time, and I think I'm doing very well.
You do like this.
Then you help push it. Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, so I've only paddled like for 5 to 6 minutes and my muscles are weighing me down. Now you can imagine they're going to be doing this for 6 hours and over. It's a really, really tough job. After 6 hours, 48 minutes, we are now approaching mainland. And the Litunga is almost approaching the mainland. A lot of people are actually welcoming him, the Queen and all the people that have traveled with us on these waters to Limulunga. So join us as we get to see some of the activities that will be taking place. And of course, the famous dance, the Manjabila, shall be danced to by all the people. The singing and the dancing continues. We are almost on mainland and a lot of people are jubilating and they're so excited to see the Litunga and the